Welcome to Mornings with Patricia. Happy Tuesday. It is Monday afternoon and it is raining. It's wonderful, wonderful. Nice and watering all the plants that need watering, and just feeling so blessed today. So today I want to talk about faith, not beliefs. I think I'll talk about beliefs tomorrow. But I want to talk about faith because there are times when it's just really, really how can I say this? Well, extraordinary to try to stay in our faith, right? It's an amazing adventure that seems like just a major task sometimes. So, as many of you know, our dog Romeo had to have a lot of work done on him, and so he that was a lot of money that came out of our budget. And here it is, school is starting, and at the end of August. And I think it's starting early this year, but starting at the end of August, and then we have another young man living with us, and one of Michael's friends, and so we are buying school clothes for two this year. And boy, looked at the budget, and it was like, whew, it's we had a little bit of money saved aside, but not enough, because Bruce is really the only one working, and besides my classes and the little bit the little bit that Sacred Space pays, there's just not a lot coming in, right? And so of course I'm applying for different jobs and things like that, but that has been kind of an interesting long process that hasn't been very fruitful yet. So I'm thinking about this class that I'm teaching in a couple of weeks. Yes, you can have it all, and I've always found in my life that I could have it all, but it's about what having it all means, and I'll save this for the class. But the basic tenet is about staying in your faith, and what does that really mean? Right? Well, if you look at it biblically, it's the Father's good wishes to give you everything that you need. Ask and it is given, right? How much that He loves the lilies of the field, but how much more, and see how beautifully He clothes them, and yet, how much more He loves you, and that's just, a biblical Christian sort of interpretation. That's not even touching New Thought or Hinduism or any of the others. So how do we stay in that faith? So I guess it was probably late last week. I wavered a little bit. It was a very, very interesting thing, because that's just not my experience to waver in my faith. And wow, and I think when these things happen, it's really a good eye opener to those of us who help others and teach to remember what people are feeling, and not just to remember back on how people are feeling. And so anyway, I just thought, well, that's just not how I want to experience this. That's not how I want to be. And I am just going to stay in my faith. But faith to me, is a relationship. It's this amazing relationship that that you have with, whether you want to call it God, the universe, spirit, the energy, whatever. And number one, it comes from the fact that that you've come here by choice, that you've chosen to come. This is not a prison. This is we're not being penalized or sent to a spiritual Siberia, right? It's not like that. So there's the basic tenet. Number two is that to know that we're not alone, to know that we are loved and supported by the universe. And number three is that what we think that should look like, and how it plays out for our highest and greatest good, is often two different things. I mean, not maybe everybody, but so many people want to win the lottery, or have all their cares taken care of. And I remember when I first started this spiritual journey, when I was going to school to become a minister. There was a book, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's by William Warch. It's the 12 something. 12 powers. And it's kind of like Fillmore's book, the 12 powers or steps, but it's a little different. And in one of the chapters, he was talking about, don't save. Should you have a savings account? Wow. Where is this coming from? Because that just flies right in the face of everything that we've ever been taught. And while I don't really agree that you don't need a savings account, I think that's just fine to have a savings account. What it is not to worry about how much is in your accounts, right? The account that you should be focusing on is your spiritual account. How firm is your faith? And if that bank is full, if that account is full, then all is taken care of. And I think I'm Hindu, but I was raised Christian, and I teach New Thought Christianity. I love that. And I think when I think about Moses and going across the desert, and the manna that came from heaven, and so here's this wonderful manna that came from heaven, and the only thing that was asked is that you collect it and eat it, but don't hoard it, don't save it, otherwise it would spoil. But here's the manna coming from heaven, and they're taken care of day after day, and yet they can't believe the experience, and they hoard it, and then of course it spoils, right? And so, and then comes the question, where's your faith? Do you think God can't deliver, day after day? That doesn't mean that we're sitting on our butts not doing anything. Of course not, but it does mean that, that we are in a relationship with the divine, and that we can be relied upon that our belief or that our faith will be strong. So, I don't know, I guess it was yesterday, Sunday, I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm fine. What happened there? I know that every time something is needed, that the universe provides, right? Because, and it's not, again, like I sit on my butt. I'm constantly, helping others and doing things, and many times at no cost, because wherever people are at or where they're at. So, it's just my way and of giving back. So anyway, I went to the post office today, and there was $200 in unexpected money to me. And it was to me personally, and I hadn't been expecting that, and I sat there and cried in gratitude, because now there's money for school clothes, right? And these are the things. It's just understanding that life goes in cycles. We're constantly in this cyclical. Oh, some animals at the back door. We're constantly in the cyclical process, and of trying to find our nature, our true selves, our relationship with the divine, and just to stay centered in that, even when all things seem like, oh, this isn't going to happen, or it doesn't look hopeful. Excuse me, just a moment, Romeo. Nikki, enough. Thank you. Even if it looks like it's not going to happen, we stay firm in that knowing. And that faith is this deep, 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 deep relationship where not only do you honor the divine, but here's the key, to know that you are honored by the divine. You are loved and honored. You're not a toss away. You're not a, hey, if you do this right, we're going to, beam the light of joy on you. It's not like that. We are honored. We are respected. We are loved. We are in a relationship. And so there's this faith. There's faith that, but here's the thing. I think on a human level, we want to know what that looks like. We want to know how that's going to appear every day. So, we say, well, look, if you will give me a monthly list of how all my good is going to appear, then I'll stay in my faith. But until then, I need to see it, to believe it, right? And again, I'll talk about belief tomorrow, but, it's the things not seen, but that are there. That that everything supports you. And I share these personal stories with you for a couple of reasons. Number one is that, well, you need to be well aware that I'm having the human experience as well. And number two, I really want to make it clear, at least it's been my experience, that the spiritual experience, right, and the spiritual walk is a procession, an ongoing revelation, an ongoing experience. And I'm not saying go, I'm totally self-actualized, I've totally centered, I have, all the answers for you. No, but I do know these things because I've worked with the process for so long. And then I get these things, these human experiences that keep teaching me. And there's a humility in that. There's a holy humbleness in that I continue to open my heart over and over and over. And it's just like with the work thing. That is very, very interesting. Staying in my faith on that. I could, and I did get a little bit sideways last week over it, but now I'm back to the center, and I don't know the why. Right? But here's what I do know: the months that I've been applying for positions and the things that I've done have opened me over and over and over again to this process that says, Patricia, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Can you keep your faith? Can you keep your faith? Over and over and over. And yes, I can. Like I said, I had one day of wavering, and that is very unlike me. But it was kind of a joke moment when I'd found out I didn't get the position at the school, and I just thought, oh my goodness, it would be so wonderful to be doing this work that I would love to do, and plus, it would be income for the family and those sorts of things. And that was really a big old Job moment, sitting on the pile of ashes for me, trying to understand, And the question that came out from the cry that came out from my soul was, how, universe, what am I doing wrong? And that's the question that happens when we're really working, and struggling sometimes with our faith. What am I doing wrong? And that's the first place we seem to go. But it's not about what you're doing wrong, right? Again, we're not being penalized. It's like, okay, this is happening. By the next day, I'm asking, what is my experience with this? What am I experiencing? What are the feelings that come up? What's that, that thread of struggle underneath that I can just kind of keep uncovering and seeing? So anyway, for your terribly terrific Tuesday, I just really urge you to consider staying in your faith. You never know how the universe is going to show up for you, but show up it will. It will show up, right? It may not give you a year's bank account so you can just ease your mind, but what it will do is it'll give you everything you need for the moment. And truly, truly, what a gift from the universe for us to stay in the now, because the moment is all we have. All right, well, thank you for another wonderful time with you. And 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I love myself. I love you. Thank you. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.